The Mystic Meals Podcast.
The Mystic Meals Podcast.
With your host, Chef Nikki Meow. We talk about food, life. Oh, and we also talk about...
Oh, yeah!
Baby. You better be ready. Right now, here's your host, Chef Nikki Meow. Get it, baby.
Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to another deliciously yummy episode of the Mystic Meals Podcast with me. I'm your friendly neighborhood homegirl, Chef Nikki Meow, and on this episode, I have the pleasure of having award-winning chef Jacobsen Valentine with me on this one. He is a culinary educator. He is the founder of a nonprofit organization out of Portland, Oregon called FeedTheMass. He is a photographer. He is an amazing man doing amazing things, feeding the people, educating the youth on how to eat, how to live, how to cook, and so much more. So without further ado, let's bring Mr. Jacobsen Valentine to the table. Meow. Welcome, Mr. Jacobsen Valentine. How are you?
Good. How are everybody doing?
Good. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with me today. I appreciate it.
Of course. No, thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's funny because I stumbled upon you because you posted up about a block party that you had organized, and I know you had to reschedule that one, right, because of the weather. But
Yeah.
It was funny because I had just had a conversation with a friend about how much I miss those, because I grew up in the Bronx in New York, and block parties were, a little different. They're a little bit different, but pretty much the same. Like everyone came out, cooked, ate, got crazy. So that's how I connected with you, and I was like, oh my God, that is the coolest thing. And it was just really cool to see somebody else with like the same kind of train of thought with it. But I want to know everything there is to know about you, or at least what you would like to tell and talk about. I'd like to know your superhero origin story. Where are you from? Where have you been? And where are you going?
Yeah. All right. So originally I was born in Honolulu, Hawaii. Grew up in Hilo till I was about 10, and then I moved here to Portland, Oregon when I was about 10. And I grew up in the Gresham area. So for those who don't know, it's like more like East County, Portland area. And it was an interesting community. I mean, honestly, it was new. I mean, being on the mainland feels a little more disconnected. I think for me, one of the things I really missed was just having community. I was like one of like 6 Black people in my entire school. And it was hard. But in the same sense, as I got older, I went to high school, I had my best friend. We actually decided to go, I decided to go to the rival school of his school. And we played football and track and everything together. And it was interesting, like being best friends, because we would go to school throughout the week, and then on the weekends we're at each other's house, and we were just always like connected. And he was telling me about his week at school and my week at school, but we really had a good childhood. There was those moments, especially in my younger years, where I was facing a lot of food insecurity.
Sure.
Honestly, even some trauma from my stepdad at the time. He was doing his best. But he had his own issues, and it definitely affected me. There was a lot of insecurity, there was a lot of hard times, and it really made me kind of anxious. And for me, it was like I knew that as soon as I turned 18, I just wanted to be out. So I graduated high school, got a scholarship to community college, got my first apartment at 18, literally 2 months after turning 18. And I just never really looked back ever since. Went to community college for business, then ended up like leaving to do culinary school. And that was actually a really interesting time because for the longest time, I was like, what am I going to do? I kind of blew my 2-year scholarship just, being
Yeah.
young and dumb.
Trying to figure it out. Yeah. Yeah.
And, my best friend was like, man, you love to cook. Why don't you get into cooking? And I went to Le Cordon Bleu in Portland and did their program, spent $40,000, which, man, if I could, I would.
Yeah, I know. I know. I think about my student loan from when I went to culinary school. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. It hurts me. It hurts me a little bit inside still.
Yes, still.
So when I got out of culinary school, I just kind of did the grind, working in restaurants. At one point, I was working like 3 restaurants at a time, just trying to get by. And I got to a point in my like mid-20s where I was just like, you know what, I need to find something better. And I found a job at a country club in Lake Oswego. And if you know anything about Portland, Lake Oswego is like where all the rich people live. And they even named it Lake No Negro, which is hilarious in its own sense. So it was interesting because we were just surrounded by a bunch of rich people that literally had nothing better to do than complain about, honestly, first world problems. But I did learn a lot in that, and it actually gave me a lot of freedom because I was able to just be like, you know what, I don't have to work 3 jobs. My work is kind of paying for, my living expenses. I want to go out and, do some volunteer work because for the first time in my life, I only worked 40 hours.
Right. Unheard of. Yeah.
And so like to just be like, what am I going to do with like 2 days off? So I started volunteering at a church and working with kids, and that one of the big things I've noticed was a lot of those children didn't know how to cook. They didn't know anything about nutrition.
Yeah.
Some of them, were like talking about like anorexia and dealing with depression. And, I went on a mission trip out to San Francisco, and we were doing some mission work out there and had a bunch of youth. And it was interesting because like we were in San Francisco and they had all these like little like haciendas everywhere, and there was like fruit and vegetables, and these kids, they all had debit cards and credit cards, and they were out like going to fast food all the time. And I was like, took them to a little shop right down the street, and they had like these little personal watermelons like the size of your like head.
Yeah.
I showed them how to chop it up with their debit cards, and and the entire trip they were eating, fruits and vegetables. Like they're like, we went to shops just so we can buy fruit to cut up with credit cards.
Right.
Which is hilarious in its own
Teach
sense.
them how to MacGyver through life. Exactly.
Yeah. And it was great. And then we also, introduced them to a lot of like different cuisines while we were in San Francisco, being able to explain things to them, like what was lengua, what was menudo and everything like that. And it was really cool. I was like, man, I love talking and teaching kids about, food and, showing them little things to get them to start eating and trying new things. And it really inspired me to like want to teach. So I started a nonprofit teaching kids in 2016. The first year I did it, or first 2 years I did it for free. I just, did it on the weekends while I worked my job, and that was my good I did for the community. And then once I got into year 3, I just like, at that time I worked another job where I was like working in a fast food joint called Killer Burger, amazing burgers. But it was like, it felt really, I don't know. It felt like I was being phony because I'm sitting here teaching kids on the weekends, eat healthy and cook good food, and then I'm working in like a place where one burger is like 20,000 calories.
Yeah.
And I was like, and for me, it hurt my heart a little bit. And like, I was like, if I'm going to commit to like really teaching, I need to like also walk the walk. So I started, I quit my job. And for the first 3 months, I lived on my credit cards. I opened up going from 1 cooking class a week to doing 5. And I started making a living being in a nonprofit and teaching kids how to cook, and never kind of looked back since. 2020, the pandemic hit, and unfortunately, we had to. I had to fire myself. I was a one-man show. It was the hardest layoff ever.
Yeah, I bet.
But then that's where things changed. We had $500 in our bank account, and I was like, "What am I gonna do?" I laid myself early enough where I could get my, food stamps and my work, my what is it called, my unemployment. But there's so many people I saw online that lost their jobs. They're in line for unemployment and food stamps, and they just had nothing. And it was just hard to watch that. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna put a post online, and for all the people that are like, enjoy what we do at Feed the Mass. I was like, hey, we're gonna make as many meals as we can. We posted it, and people came. We fed about 150 people with $500, and people started giving.
Nice.
People were giving food, people were giving to the mission, and we kept doing it every week. And within 3 months, we got a kitchen donated to us. We were doing at one point we were doing about 1,000 meals, I think by June. So this all happened from February to June. We were at 1,000 meals per week. And then in Portland, there was the wildfires in Oregon, September 11th of 2020, and the city was like, hey, how can you help? And I'm like, well, if you guys can deliver the food, we can help the firefighters and people affected by the wildfires, and we can make as many meals as we can. We put an SOS out to the community and said, hey, there's always people who are fighting fires. There's people who are, got taken out of their houses. Their houses are gone. We want to make as many meals as we can. And within 3 days, we organized over 6,000 meals in 3 days. And that's literally, we got the phone call, we put the word out, we made the food. We had semi-trucks filled with food and delivered to there, and we did it all in 3 days. And it was that proactive approach, not really asking for like permission or having people come to us. It was like, no, they need food.
Right.
We see the issue. We're going to go out there and make a change.
Like it's a necessity. Yeah, exactly. Like it's not really a question of whether or not they need it. It's like, how can we do it? How can we bring it to them? Yeah. And
the community, stepped up, and they did an amazing job. And we then the city came to us like, hey, can you make more meals for the community, and we'll pay you to do it. And that's where everything kind of changed.
Right.
We then moved to Old Town, downtown Portland, and we have a kitchen. Airbnb gave us like this last 8 months of their lease because they were going all virtual, and they had a cafeteria kitchen there, and they're like, here, have all the equipment, have everything.
Wow.
Do your project, and then at least you got something for the next 6 to 8 months. And that was a huge blessing because like we were like working in a like 500 square foot kitchen, and now we had 4,000 square feet.
Yeah.
So that was great. And then of course that process turned into the first big obstacle was like, how do we create sustainability in this? And for the first 2 years we were just doing hot meals and sending them out, and there was a lot of waste. There was a lot of I would say also over mutual where like certain like groups of people were getting like 6 meals a day, and then there were certain groups that were getting one. And it was just like one of those things where there was no communication, there was no real organization and distribution.
Of it,
so so that was really that was a little hard on us. But then 3 years ago we got approached by the city about the safe rest villages they were building, and we were super excited because we were able to help develop their meal program. And after that, we were doing about 6,000 meals per week. We've been doing it for over 4 years or 3 years now, and we're going on to our 4th year. And we're excited because we're expanding into schools, we're expanding into healthcare facilities, we're expanding now even directly to individuals. And honestly, the last 10 years has been like the craziest thing, because on our 10th anniversary, we bought a building. And that was and that's kind of like why we wanted to have a block party, and that kind of puts us where we're at today. Where like we want to celebrate the community of Old Town. We want to celebrate all the community that's coming together. We want to feed people. We want to have a good time, and summertime is the best time for Portland because everybody gets to get out of the rain.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the day that we decided to do our block party, it
rained, right?
Yeah. But
typical Portland
excited.
fashion.
Yeah, so we're excited because August 15th we're gonna have another block party. We're gonna have a good time, and we actually got to even get more sponsors and get more people to learn about the block party and want to help support it. So I think it's going to be even bigger. So it's its own blessing in its own self.
It is. I mean, it sounds like throughout the pivots that you've had to make over the past 10 years, like each thing that kind of felt like maybe it was a failure or like this wasn't working led to the next thing that was going to be even better, and that's just kind of how life goes. Like you really never know like where it's going to take you, what's going to happen. And if you just do the thing and you're doing it with all your heart and soul, like other people are going to like gravitate to that and want to be a part of it. And as you said, like even with the block party having to be moved to another date, like now you could bring even more awareness and like that more people know about it. And now it's bigger. And now it's like, okay, like now it's a party. Not that it wasn't before, but now it's got a different flavor to it. So that's really cool.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's awesome. So what would you say is, what have you learned most about yourself over the past 10 years?
Learn to trust myself. I think the entire probably first, I want to say 8 years, I felt like I was doing like the imposter syndrome. Like it just made no sense of like a lot of the successes. And then when it failed, it just kind of like almost reinforced in the back of my mind, like, oh yeah, like the only reason it failed is because you're not who you think you are.
Right.
And then, a couple years ago when we just like started winning and we got, we got the contracts, we started being able to give more, we got to hire people, a lot more people. We got to, start having, better paying jobs for our team. That's when everything, I just kind of was like, no, you're not an imposter. You're doing it. You're doing the work.
Yes.
You've grown so much, and you've created something that now benefits. We have 24 staff on our team, and I'm just like so proud of everybody because there's so many passionate people about helping their community. And for me, just really understanding and accepting that, like, yes, I am a professional. I am a CEO. I did start this. I did buy the building. I did all these things.
Like you did that. You did it.
I did that.
Like that was you. Yeah.
That was, so
that was me, damn it.
it was me. And like, and the hard part is there's so many like people out there who are just naysayers or so negative or, honestly, it's understandable. And I get it. There are like, who am I? But in the same sense, is like it doesn't change who I want to be and what I want to do and how I want to help people. It doesn't change my heart. It just sometimes it's one of those things where I can only pray for them and I can only hope that they get success like I find success, and I hope that. And it's interesting because all the haters that I've had in my entire process of this entire thing, like, it made me better. It made me want to be like, you know what, like I'm gonna prove you wrong, and like we're gonna be successful without you, and we're going to. I don't need your support. And the thing is, like, I always tell everybody, like, we're not everybody's cup of tea. And that's okay. Like, I'm not going to try to win everyone over. Yes. People who are going to support us are going to support us. The people who are going to like us are going to like us. People who are going to like me are going to like me.
Right.
And if I spend my entire life just trying to like win over people who say they don't like me, I believe them. They don't like me. Cool. I believe you.
Right.
Peace.
And that's exactly. And that's okay, because guess what? I like me. I like you a lot. And that's the thing. I think as we go through life, like you require less and less validation from anyone about anything, especially like for everything that you've lived through in your life to get to this point. It's like, it doesn't really matter, because I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to do this anyway, whether there's a big crowd or a little crowd or whatever. Like, you're doing what you're doing because you feel compelled to do it. I mean, that's it.
Yeah. And I think one thing that I also tell everybody, I'm like, if you can do it better, then I hope I encourage you to do it better.
Right.
If you can go out there, start a nonprofit and, feed a bunch of people and do things better, then please go do those things better.
Right.
Go out there and make a better organization. But if you're going to sit there on your couch and you making, minimum wage and you complaining about like X, Y, and Z, like you're not even on my level.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, honestly,
no, straight up. Say it. I mean, tell the truth, man.
You're not on my level.
I think that's how it is. Like, people really talk to you from where they're at. Yeah. Where, the things that they tell you, like, who do you think you are? Like, why are you doing it? It's because they don't feel capable of doing it. So you're living life and to the beat of your own drum. So, but I have to follow this path. So why are you doing that and I can't? And it's not about you not being able to do it. It's just, you can do it too. Just, get over yourself.
Yeah.
Get over it a little bit. Yeah.
And here's the thing is like, and it's very interesting because I feel like I piss a lot of people off because I'll go and sit there and be like, hey, if you want to do what I do or you feel like you can do it better, let me know and I can tell you what I'm doing. And then if you can figure it out better, then here you go. Because It's like, I will give you the blueprints. I'll give you how we do everything. I'll give you all the SOPs.
Yeah.
And here you go. Go do it better. And I hope so because here's the thing is like, I don't believe in competition. I believe in collaboration. I believe that everyone has the ability to do something better for their community.
Yes.
And if you can't go out and actually do something better and you just want to complain about like the sky's falling and you're not building a shelter, you're not doing anything, you're just sitting there with your finger in the air, like, guess what? You're going to get squashed.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
That's what it is.
So why do you think that you receive that type of reception from certain people?
It always goes back to like, I always had, so I'm a Christian and one of the big things that we talk about is how like Jesus couldn't do miracles in his own hometown.
Mm-hmm.
And, when I was younger, I was a womanizer. I was dumb. I was cocky. I was arrogant. I wasn't always honest. And people remember me from when I was those things.
Okay.
To be honest. And people remember me when I was dumb and young and, trying to do everything.
Right.
And just trying to, and like for me, I was at a point in my life, I was really chasing the clout. I wanted to be something. I didn't want to be just another person. I like, if you ever met me in person, I'm like 6'5". I'm a giant man. And like, it always, everybody's like, oh, like everyone always awed at me. And I was like, well, I'm going to show you like I wanted to be more than just a big guy. I wanted to be like the successful guy. I wanted to have all the women. I wanted to have all the, attention. And, when I was younger, it rubbed people wrong or maybe it hurt people. And, and even in this process of working in Feed the Mass, especially when being tossed to the amount of success as an organization and growth really quickly, there's been times where I've made bad decisions. I've made bad hires. I have made bad partnerships. I have fired people, and people are not happy when you succeed and then you take away, or you take out people who helped or feel like they've helped with success. And people feel entitled to like your success. If you were there from the get-go and you grow and you grow and you realize, hey, I can't, be with a person who doesn't show up and who is not honest and who, slacks off or steals or takes things or hurts people's feelings or just is not a good person. As great as a person as that person may be, like if I can't have you be a part of this, I'm going somewhere. And I want to grow. And at a certain point, there's going to be people who I just can't go with me because they'll keep dragging me down.
Sure. Well, I mean, once you get locked in, it's really like, that's it. You know what I mean? Like there's hardly any peripheral vision, because you know that you're on the trajectory you're supposed to be on. And that end goal is the most important thing. And you need to do what you need to do to maintain it, and to also keep yourself in check along the way, and make sure that even as you're managing other people, that you're constantly creating the proper environment for everyone to thrive in. And when there's a person that starts to kind of maybe go off the beaten path a little bit, or maybe, you're noticing behaviors, like, you give them the opportunity and the chance to kind of rein that in. And then if it doesn't happen, you got to do what you got to do. I mean, it's for the greater good of what you're doing. And you can't really afford to have anything, there's no hitches in the giddy up here. Like, we need to keep it pushing and keep it moving. So absolutely understandable, for sure. And the fact that things have grown the way that they have over the past decade, which is, I mean, it's 10 years. That's a long time. It's not like an overnight thing, although to some it might seem that way. But like, no one really truly knows, unless they were there with you, like what you went through to get to this point, and how much of a need there was for what you were doing, along with the other nonprofits that were happening at the same time. And some, came and went, some are still there. What do you think has contributed to the longevity of Feed the Mass?
Well, I don't run our nonprofit like a nonprofit. I run it as a business.
Okay.
Every nonprofit should have a product, and whether it's their programming as a product, and someone has to pay for it. And a lot of people depend on grants or the federal government or X, Y, and Z to like bail them out, or the community, which if you live in a poor community and you depend on the poor community to support the poor community, that's a bad business model.
Yeah.
And so for us, we really focus on like, okay, so if we're going to go and help a bunch of people, where are we going to get the funding for it? And then, if we're also going to hire a bunch of people, well, we need to make sure we have a sustainable reoccurring funding for all these people that we're hiring for.
Right.
So for us, we work with contracts. We make sure that the people that eat our food don't pay for our food. So we work with organizations that have funding. We work with companies that have funding. We work with schools that have funding. And if they don't have funding, we work with them and help find grants. We help them fundraise. We put, donation tabs on like, hey, the school, we're working with the school. They need funding to help with their meals programs.
Right.
Like, let's raise money so we can feed them.
Yes.
But it's, what I've learned is, especially during the pandemic, we can't chop our right arm off to save everybody and expect to keep working.
Yeah.
And, we tried the whole volunteer run and everything like that. And then from 2020 to 2021, we had over 500 people volunteering in a given week, like month. And then when 2021 hit, our volunteers dropped to like 10 a month because, volunteer fatigue happened. Everybody during the pandemic, they started going back to work. And then all of a sudden, when people start going back to work, your volunteer pool dries up. More people are just tired of like volunteering. People have lives. And I think for us, it like we had to figure out a more sustainable model. And for us, it's like, what are the organizations that have funding, and how can we help those individuals provide meals free for their customers? And we can help with making the meals, they can do the distribution, and it's a win-win. And for us, that also creates a way for us to also create a surplus that we can then do free meals. Like this year, this summer, we're taking care of a apartment complex in the Pearl District that has been kind of incomed out, because the Pearl District is where a lot of people with high income people live there, and the median income has gone up so much that even the low income housing that's there, those people stopped receiving summer help resources. So these kids didn't have summer meals for the entire summer. And we're like, well, that can't happen. So they reached out to us like, hey, can you help us out like once a week? And we're like, no, we're going to help you 7 days a week.
Yeah,
we provide meals for the whole like building, 62 kids.
Right.
going all the way from preschool all the way up to high school, and we provide lunches for them. And
Yeah.
it's that business model where it's like, hey, we charge the right people, we get the contracts, and then that surplus then gets refunneled into being able to do things for free for organizations that don't have money.
Mm-hmm.
And that sustainable model created a way for us to buy a building. And that building, now that we own a building, then we can go and sit there and say, okay, so what other organizations need support that like we need to support? Because I remember
Right.
when we were young, we were all about like, how do we find a place to do our classes? Where do we find a place to have an office? And, you know, luckily there were people who looked out for us. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, for us, we want to kind of repay that favor. So we created, in our Nourish building, we have an entire 10,000 square foot floor dedicated to co-working. Like people can come in and they can, this entire summer, they can come in for free. They can go and work. Like, and, you know, there's memberships that eventually, you know, people can be a part of the building and they can get, you know, financial help. They can get, you know, entrepreneurship mentoring. They can, you know, connect with other organizations and help build up each other's organizations so they can be sustainable. And when they outgrow this building, they're going to be able to go and get their own building because they've had a place to really incubate and grow.
Yes.
That is supporting their vision.
Well, you know, providing the educational resources is vital. I mean, aside from the food insecurities that a lot of people are facing throughout their life, no matter what, you know, having a place that they can go to, because, you know, even growing up poor myself, and, you know, growing up without really led to my path of being a chef as well, because, you know, I'm like, I kind of similar, like I left when I was 18, you couldn't stop me from leaving. I was out there in the world and I never looked back. And you know, but a lot of that stemmed from not having the resources and not having the support and not having anywhere to go, or like, you know, the youth center, the local youth center was only there for so long. And, you know, then that whatever programs they were offering, you know, got cut because of money and all of that stuff. And it can be so discouraging. And, you know, when you are in a position to be able to give something back and be able to say, here, you know, you can come here and learn how to do this. And you can, you know, because so many people are so held back by what they think they can't do. I can't do that. I don't know how to do that. But if you just introduce it to them and give them, you know, well, here, read this, you know, check that out and see if that, if you take to it. I think it's really so important and so much bigger than probably what you even envisioned it to be at this point. Because now it's like it's a need, it's a necessity, and it's been interwoven into the community in such a way that I think is great and wonderful to see it. My daughter's on the autism spectrum, and one of the things that I am searching for is community. Because it's very tough on special needs parents, you know, like there's a lot of when you are a capable individual, you kind of get given an invisibility cloak that you didn't ask for, you know, and you can feel me on that one. It's like people just think, no, they got it. They can do it. They are not. She's good. They're great. He's got it. They're fine. And people don't understand like what really goes on behind the scenes of everything and how much support you really need. So having a place where people can come to just kind of, you know, read up on something or learn how to cook something that they've never, you know, they've been intimidated to try, is important, because especially in the education system, like, I mean, what is home ec? No one even knows what that is, you know, like, no, I mean, like being taught how to cook, the basics, the bare bones, how to clean your house, how to just all of that, like, you know, bringing that back into the forefront of society and community in your own way, I think is tremendous.
Yeah. And I think, you know, for me, I think the big thing that everybody forgets is that we're all human, that we're flawed, that we all are going through things. You know, I feel for you as a parent. I have 3 kids, and I can imagine adding on the aspect of like a developmental disability. So, you know, I feel for you that like it like finding that like another level of care that you have to finding yourself to get to another child, knowing that it's going to be an uphill battle, you know, that's hard. And I think that's the kind of compassion that we as an organization really strive for. understanding that like everybody that comes in our door that we're working with, they're human beings, that they are going to experience, they have an experience that like honestly is theirs. And we're not going to go and sit there and say, oh, we have a one size fit all like solution for everyone.
Yeah.
Like, and I think for us, the way we approach that is the aspect of, we understand that anyone who needs a meal is going to come and get a meal. We understand that anyone who needs a place to work or to feel comfortable or feel safe, they can come here. Now, does it mean that we can provide everything for them? No.
No, of course.
But in the same sense, I can at least give you a meal and, have an open ear and, figure out like, other resources that we can help you and, do our best.
Sure.
And I never promise anybody that I'm going to solve their problems.
Right.
But what I can do is I can always promise everybody they won't go away hungry.
Right.
That's my thing. That's my superpower. Like, I will feed you. I will make sure you have sustenance and the energy to be able to do the next step.
Yes, absolutely. Because that could be the thing that gets people through the day. That's when I started my side business. I sell spices, and that kind of stemmed from the pandemic as well, because so many people were gravitating to the kitchen and for the first time, and they didn't know what to do and how to do what with this. What do I do with this spice? What do I do with this meat? How do I make this bread? And, a lot of my friends also discovered that they had some like autoimmune diseases and, they had a completely like the ninja scroll of a list of things that they could not consume anymore, contributed to like the depression. And, like you go from being able to enjoy this to like, nope, you can't eat that, and you can't eat this, and you can't, that could be so stifling to someone. So to be able to help somebody just be like, well, why don't you try this and see if that works for you, or maybe cook it this way. And, it's a small gesture, but it could really be the thing that gets someone through their day, knowing that there is that little something, that little thing, that desk that they can sit at and just kind of putz around on the computer for a second if they have no Wi-Fi, like, you know what I mean? Like if they can't afford to pay the bill and they know they could go here or to that cafe and they're not going to kick them out, like, you've been here for too long, like creating a haven for people as best as you can, especially for children. I was telling a friend of mine who's also a chef there in Portland, how like one of the things I really want to do is either create a nonprofit or work within a nonprofit that directly educates parents of autistic children and the children themselves, and helping to create better environments for them to be in, and also educating anyone in hospitality and business, retail, anything, just like what the behaviors are and just what to look out for, and just so that there's a feeling of normalcy, in a way. It's almost like when there's this video I saw about a year ago of this deaf man who went into Trader Joe's, and he was having a hard time kind of figuring out what was going on. And one of the workers spoke sign language and started signing to him. And like, just like that, you could see him just light up. And that kind of connection, when someone sees you and they get it and they're there for you and they're not making you feel like you're no different than me. You're just, okay, what do you need? Like, what do you need? How can I help you? It seems so simple, right? But yet it seems to be the hardest thing for a lot of people to do. So the fact that you're in a position to provide that, not only for the community, but for other people that work with you, that you're all collaborating on a daily basis, feeding off of each other, like all of that is great energy. And I think nothing but good things will always come from that, as long as things are, nurtured. You have to water your garden, right, as best as you can. So that's amazing.
Well, I mean, our mission is to empower, educate, and serve. And I think service is something that I feel the pandemic killed, which is crazy to say that, but like,
no, I hear you.
I don't believe I don't believe we have the same service as we did before the pandemic.
Yeah.
I think right now we have a lot of entitlement that looks like service.
Yes.
And a good example of that is like, pay me $25 an hour to work at McDonald's. That's entitlement. I mean,
right.
Or like, I'm gonna do really good when I get paid, what I'm worth.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not service.
Yeah.
That's extortion, if anything.
Right. Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah.
So for me, it's very interesting when people come to us as an organization and they're like, you guys are so hospitable, and I'm like, no, I know, like I said, our mission is to serve. So like, when you come in, you're gonna ask, hey, are you hungry? You're gonna ask, can I get you something to drink?
Yeah.
Let's go sit down. Let's relax.
I mean, as you would if you welcome someone into your home. It's almost like that's like one of the first things I ask. Like, hey, did you eat? Have you eaten yet? You okay? You good?
Oh yeah.
Like, it's just like the first thing that you do, and I think a lot of that comes from my upbringing as well, because nobody had anything, so it was like, what do you got? It's like the stone soup concept of like, okay, well, I've got some potatoes and you've got some chicken, and so together you can create something and feed everybody. So, yeah. That's
Love
amazing. I mean, it's good to see it, and because I think it's a really important, I hate to say it like an old school ideology, but I mean, it really is. Like you kind of have to be from a certain time and place to really understand the concept of what that is and how important it is to keep reinforcing that now, especially as you said, like so many people kind of they kind of lost the plot of like the way things should be and how you should treat each other, especially if you go out to eat or in a retail setting, like how they treat other people, just like the other day, I was in CVS 2 days ago and there was a long line and this woman just walked right in and she started yelling at the cashier, like on site. And she was like, you need to get somebody else in here. This is insane. Like, look at this line. And the woman was very nice and very composed. She just said, I'm sorry, ma'am, but there's only two of us. There's only two. She's like, well, that's not my problem, and I just started laughing because I was like, mama, like, we're all here, okay?
Yeah.
Like, wow, like it's CVS, girl, like, come on. But like that's kind of where like a lot of people are at, like okay.
Yeah. Well, it's like that. They're talking about where from years 1985 to 1997, we're a weird generation where we've experienced people a time where we never had like cell phones or electronics, and then we got to be introduced to electronics and a more faster paced living of life. And we're that generation where it's very weird because like when we see things that are like, hey, like, kindness and, serving people and making sure, opening the doors, cordialness, we're like, oh, I remember those days. Nowadays you got people who are just like, hurry up, you know? Like there's a line behind you. And I'm like, I mean, like my wife talks about this. We go like every once in a while go to fast food. When I say every once in a while, like once a week. But and she always has like, I feel like she has anxiety when we get to the fast food lane because they're like, hey, how can I help you? I'm like, we're just looking at the menu. Give us a second. Literally 30 seconds later. All right, you ready to order? I'm like, we're still looking. Sorry, give us a couple seconds.
Yeah.
10 seconds later. All right, you guys ready? I'm like, we are still looking. I can't barely look at the menu. and I'm like, she's like, don't pull up until we're ready to order. And I'm like, no, they're supposed to wait for us.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm not going to sit here all day, but give me a moment to peruse the 10,000 things that you have on your menu because I came here with one agenda and now there's another. Okay.
Exactly.
Like, I didn't know y'all had a spicy freaking mushroom ooga booga chicken sandwich. I might want to try that,
Exactly.
Give me a minute to process.
and then I sometimes I get so flustered. I'm like, you know what? Just give me a McValue sandwich.
And then you end up ordering something like wah,
Yeah. I'm just like, I'm not like, I was gonna go for a Big Mac, and now you just made me like literally buy less.
Yeah. Right, like, exactly.
Give me 3 minutes. I don't care if there's 5 other people behind me. If they really are in need of food, they can get out of the car and they can go to the register.
What I'm saying, people are so ridiculously impatient. Like so impatient. Like, what's the what? Like, what? What are you late for? You're at work. You're working. You're on the clock. you
It
know,
is literally 3 p.m. in the
Yeah.
afternoon. You should be working right now.
right. Like you don't own the company either, man, but you need to represent. Okay, so let's give each other a moment. All right, please and thank you. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean it's crazy, but also I think, speaking to that time frame that you just mentioned, I think what I'm noticing is the need to have a shared experience because back in the day, like we all ran home to watch a certain program and then we either all watched it together or ran back out when it was done to talk about it. Everything was happening to all of us in real time. So,
TGIF.
Yeah, it's lost, you know what I mean? Because now we're all on our phones and there's such a disconnect to, everything is this, so like, I get it. I get where we're at, what we need to do in social media and all that kind of stuff. But, I don't have to document every single thing that I'm doing either. You know what I mean? Like people have said to me, like, how come you don't put your daughter out there, talk about the autism? I do talk about it, but I don't need to put a camera in her face. Like, I don't need to do that. Like I'm just, and I don't begrudge any parent that does it. That just doesn't feel right to me to do. I'd rather just be in whatever moment is happening with her and get through it. And then when I was supposed to show them, oh God, that was so like, it's done. We did it. You know what I mean? Like we're good. You know what I'm saying? It's all good, but it's just that kind of shared experience I think people really want. And that kind of circles back to your block party, and how you're able to kind of, it's like, hey man, it's summertime. Let's enjoy it while we got it. Cause you already know once the rain hits, you already know we're back to it. But not that stops anybody anyway. It's kind of an old hat, I guess, for you guys. But it's great to see it. So now what are some of the vendors that you're going to have? Because I'm sure you have some favorite hotspots, eateries, and people that you were like, listen, I love your food. Would you be down to be a part of this?
Well, so one of the big things that we actually wanted to do was like, how can we make this event free, as much free things as possible. So when people buy their ticket, that's the last, thing they have to really stress about. And, for us, we are actually providing a lot of the food, where we have Cisco providing a lot of the food for our guests. We're also going to be doing cotton candy. We're going to be doing snow cones. We have DJ Ambush, which is one of our local DJs here, and he is amazing. He also used to broadcast on X-Ray FM, so he has like that low sultry voice. Like, I feel like if me and him ever were on a podcast, we can put everyone to sleep, but also the
ASMR
at the same time. We don't know what one of the two is going to happen. But and we also have we're in the process of also bringing a lot of community resources to the community as well. So having people table and talk about their resources and how they can help them out if they need anything, and also just build awareness of like, hey, this is Old Town. This is what's happening in Old Town. Because Old Town historically has, especially over the last 6 years, has just kind of been forgotten. There's a lot of houseless services. There's a lot of houseless people there. At a certain point, there was people literally just camping on streets. And, and it was scary. But I feel like us as organizations, we've been through all those stages, and we've actually become better because of it. And the streets have actually become better of it. And organizations have really started planting themselves in Old Town, not as a houseless service provider, but as a community bringer. And I think for us, especially when we decided we were going to buy a location in Old Town and have a building for ourselves, we said, we need to let people know about the Old Town community and know that we're out here and experience, downtown Portland. Yes, every Saturday is a Saturday market, a couple blocks down the road, and it's a giant market and everybody gets to come out and everything like that. But there's other things, there's other businesses out there that are doing amazing work, and we want to highlight those individuals. And I think this block party is just a reintroduction to what Old Town is going to be. Right.
Which is amazing, to kind of remind people that hey, I know we know why you kind of stayed away from here, but come on back and see what's new and what we're doing and what we're trying to create here, which is so much fun,
and like you said, and like you said, building that connection and that shared experience. Because when people come, and one of the things I really, miss is just being able to go to someone's house and just like I remember like friends, like they always just walked into their friend's house. And, it's one of those things where I think like what I want people to feel like is they can come to Old Town and they can just walk into our building and know that like, hey, just came to check in on you, see how things are going. Oh, you got a cooking class? Cool, I'll be there, this weekend. Or, oh, you guys need some help in the kitchen? I'm gonna come into the kitchen and help out and volunteer. I think that's the kind of shared experience that we have been really good at creating. We just had the Timbers come by and make a bunch of backpacks and snacks for people and kids, and it's beautiful when they come in and they're like, I never cooked. You got footballers over there who've never cooked. They have their own personal chefs. And I'm like, oh, well, guess what? You've just been ordained as a cook today. You're going to make all these snacks. And
you're going to learn today.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And the crazy part is, like they were a little anxious at the beginning, but by the time they were done, they were having fun. They were laughing. And I truly believe that's the experience they're always going to remember of like, hey, building backpacks and, making these mixes. And a lot of them were like, hey, I'll come back another day. And I'm like, cool.
Well, I mean, it makes you feel good to know that you contributed to something beyond yourself. You know, that you didn't realize too, that there was a need for it, that you could do it. That, like, cause they do the local like grocery outlet here, that not that far from me. Every summer they do like backpack giveaways, and the lines are always like, let the families, mob deep with kids, cause they need the help, but it's a great service to have, because it's like one less thing to worry about on the list of things to worry about. It's like, oh, well, I can go here and I can get a really great meal, and I could get this school supplies for my kids, and even though they're going to lose them the first day of school, it doesn't matter. I don't have to worry about it.
Exactly.
Like being able to just kind of get involved, I think, really does something to one's spirit, especially if you kind of walk in there a little doubtful, a little like, I don't know if I could do it, or what can I do? Like, I got the list is long, baby. Where should we begin?
Exactly.
Where I got you. I'll give you something to do right now. That's amazing. So do you cook a lot at home? Does your wife like to cook?
I'm the chef at home. My wife, she can put down some good food in it, but for like 9 times out of 10, I'm cooking. And it's a lot of my wife calls it struggle meals, but it's more of like, what do we have in the pantry and what we have in the fridge. And she's like, well, what cuisine is it? Like, she actually literally asked me this, and I almost like died laughing. She's like, so what cuisine is this? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, it's not really like, it's no like cuisine. Like, so like if you were like in Italy, what would they call this? I'm like, it's pasta, meat sauce, and Alfredo sauce. Like, that's
they
what
probably call it blasphemy, but that's okay.
Exactly. I mean, that's what it is. It's blasphemy.
What is this?
What is this? What is this? But for me, like, for me in my head, every time I make a meal, it's like protein, starch, vegetables.
Right. Yes.
If I get those 3 things
food.
right,
it's dinner.
And a sauce. You throw a sauce on it, and we win.
It's delicious. It's what it
delicious.
is. Okay. Yeah. I know. The struggle is real, but I do the same thing. Like, especially like with my daughter, like, I mean, she watches everything I do. So she may not eat everything that I cook, but she sees what I'm doing with it and how much I enjoy it. And when we go out to the supermarket, it's always like, she gets to see all the abundance of fruits and vegetables and meats and this and that. And she's just always intrigued about what it is and where it comes from. And, it's great to kind of see her still trying to connect to it, even though it might smell yucky and make, like she's such a radar. Like if she won't, she won't. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll try that another time.
Exactly.
But she, it's very much that, like, because we ate that way growing up, because my mother grew up in a group home. She came here from Puerto Rico when she was very young with her siblings. And she was raised in a Catholic institution. So none of them spoke English at all. and they kind of detoxed them out of, their home, their native language, but and told them they would never have use for Spanish in this country. Anyway, yeah, but their regimen was very starch, protein, vegetable. So we grew up eating very similar starch, protein, vegetable. Now that's like the kind of starches, proteins, and vegetables varied very, very much. And I do have an affinity for food banks and food pantries because we lived off of those. But back then, like it was very limited that like you got 10 items, you can take 10 things. So my mom had to be really, really smart and really selective with what those 10 things were going to be. So it was always pasta. It was always like the no frills jar of pasta, powdered milk, a giant box of cornflakes,
government cheese.
Sugar. Yeah, the government cheese, like that. Those were the days, like the big block of cheese, the giant hunk of butter. But those are the things that, but then again, community, because you saw your neighbors, you saw the kids, everybody was in line doing the same thing. So it was so normal that you didn't really realize that, like, oh, not everybody lives like that. You're like, oh, I see. But you still kind of gravitate towards that way of eating, like sometimes I just want a peanut butter and jelly. I just want like a ham and cheese. I just want some ramen, like I don't really want to think about it too much other than to just eat. And then there are other times where I'm like, yeah, man, let's go for it. I'm making some Michelin star stuff today, darling. Get ready. Yes, indeed. But no, I think it just teaches you how to appreciate food and have a deeper connection to it and understand like where the other person in front of you is coming from. What it is to be without, what it is to struggle, what it is to like have to scrape it together with nothing. And that's such a skill to have that a lot of people don't have. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh my God, I can't. I'm like, it's going to be okay. Like we can solve the problem, like I know what the problem is. Let's get to the solution. How can we fix it?
I am like, especially in family gatherings, like if for anyone's like, oh, we don't know what to do in the kitchen and we don't know what we're going to make for dinner. I'm always like, just give me 30 minutes.
Yeah, no, but a lot of that's on purpose too. They're like, no, what am I going to do?
What are we going to do? I'm so hungry and I don't know what to cook.
I didn't want to make this for you because I didn't know what you were going to think of me. I'm like,
oh my gosh, that's the funniest. Like, I find it so like hilarious when people say that specifically. Yeah. Oh, I didn't want to, it's not what you would make. And I'm like, how do you know? Like,
how do you know?
I could probably, but I'm like, is it poisonous? Is it like, is it like burnt? Like,
what did you do?
Exactly. It's like, no, I want to, and here's the thing is like the most important, like, I think the sweetest thing anyone could ever do is cook for me. And like, I tell everybody, I'm like, hey, you want to get to my heart? Cook for me. Cause like, I don't care if it's bad. Like you put the effort, you put the time in, you made this food for me.
Yes.
You thought about like, oh, he would like it. Oh man. Yeah.
Right.
No, we're best friends.
Right. Exactly. I think it's one of the most generous things that you can do is cook for someone. And
yes,
because that's really truly coming from you, that's your heart and your soul. And, you're putting your love into it. That's your love on a plate, or at least it should be.
Should be.
Hopefully you're in a good mood when you were cooking today.
Why is it so spicy?
Right. Exactly. Like, wow, are you okay? Kind of cold. Is everything all right? I know. I've been there. It's funny how like you can kind of Rorschach test like someone's food, like when they cook for you. Like I'm at a point, like, especially when I go out to eat, like I can kind of like, oh, the cook's not happy. Like something happened.
These French fries are so cold and soggy. They were rushing this.
Yeah, like
someone made them mad.
Just taste the emotions on the plate. You're like, oh man.
Oh my gosh!
You did not want to be here today.
There was one time where I knew I made them mad because I told them, I was like, hey, can I get because my wife is all about like French fries. If it's not fresh, she gets upset.
Yeah.
It's super important. Can you make sure that the fries are fresh? And like I got the fries and they were all like cold.
Right.
But also like undercooked. Like they just threw it in the fryer for a couple seconds and then like threw it out. And I'm just like,
right.
Yeah. And I was like, should I go back? And I'm like, no, because like if they're mad that I asked for fresh food, what more things are they going to do to the food at that point?
Right, exactly. Like what else is going to happen here? Yeah, I'm good. Like I get it. I get this is the level that we're at.
This is the best I'm going to get from you right now.
Yeah,
cool.
Gotcha. Yeah, but I mean, I know it's hard to like kind of because your eyes are different. You know, you know what's going on back there. You know, and you know what to do and how to do it, and you're watching everything they do, and it's hard to not like see things from that vantage point, you know, where you're like, okay, I like my French, you know, fries nice and fresh and crispy too. And like, I know what's going on. I know they've been sitting there for a minute. I know it's okay, but can we like give them a little dunky dunk? Can we refresh? Can we?
Can we? Is that allowed?
Yeah.
Am I allowed to like have the best quality?
Yeah, because I mean that maybe I came here just for those freaking fries. You know, like I wanted that experience, and now it's like, man, now I'll never be back.
Oh, actually, here's my question for you: what is your favorite kind of fry? Like cut fry? What is your favorite kind of fry?
Ooh, that depends on what I'm eating with it.
What?
You know, okay, so I would say kind of your standard cut fry.
Standard cut? Okay.
Yeah, like not steak fries and not shoestrings. I love shoestrings, but you know, like just kind of like right down the line, like fries you would make for yourself at home, like just that kind of cut. Super crispy, preferably fried in beef fat.
Oh, beef tallow.
If you have access
a little beef tallow in a box.
A little tallow, indeed, just a bit. And if you're feeling wily, maybe some duck fat or goose fat, if you even can fathom it. You can't even fathom what that's like. That experience is a whole nother thing, darling. But then see, here's the opposite, okay? Because then like I like them crispy, but I also like my fries with gravy. I love French fries and gravy. I love me some chili cheese fries. Oh, I mean, just leave me to it. You know, I will apologize ahead of time for the pig pen madness that you're about to see, but I'm going in.
Exactly.
I'm going in hard.
I'm a huge crinkle cut fry. Crinkle cut is to me a good crispy crinkle cut that's fresh.
But it's so rare.
It's
like a unicorn of fries.
It shouldn't be. I think there's one place that like I go to, Del Taco. They have crinkle cut fries.
Yes.
One place
they know how to do their French fries.
They know how to do their fries. And like back in the day, and they don't do this anymore. Back in the day, they would put their fries in a large cup. So you buy a large fry, it came in a 32-ounce cup.
Oh my gosh.
So you had 32 ounce, you had almost 2 pounds. You had exactly 2 pounds of fries.
That's crazy.
It was the best experience.
And now it's like
here's a couple fries.
You're about a baker's dozen of fries here. And they're all short.
They're all short. They're all broken. They're broken. Bits.
They're like hard fried in the center. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, what happened? You know, there was one place called Nathan's. They do the hot dogs, but they were actually chain restaurants back where I'm from. And they had this, it was a crinkle cut fry, but they were thick, shorty crinkle cuts. And they served it in a boat with a red, like pronged fork. So it was like a 2-pronged and like that experience. And then just putting whatever you want on it, cheese, ketchup, like what have you, was just such an experience it's just it just doesn't exist anymore. I'm just like, man, like now I'm like, like I remember the fries but like, you know, you go to certain places that have a certain type of fry for the experience. You know, and like, you know, McDonald's fries, you already know what you're getting, you know what it's going to be. But they used to fry their fries in beef tallow and they don't anymore. But they try to replicate the flavor by adding something else to it. And I'm like, I see.
The shenanigans.
Yeah, it's a lot of food shenanigans going on out here. But I don't really discriminate against much when it comes to food.
Is it edible? All right, I'm going to eat it.
Right, yeah. It smells good to me. Like, what is it? Goulash. Let's go.
Goulash.
Goulash. Yes. I made you a spider goulash. Ooh. Go, man. You got some bread. Let's dip some bread in there. Come on.
Done.
Yeah,
Done.
exactly. Sign me up. I'll let you know how it goes later.
That's a spicy spider.
It's huge. It's a one hell of a goulash, baby. I'm telling you. But that's what it is. I think like when you feed people, no matter what it is, it's an experience. It should be, even if it's not a good one. Like it's still like, all right, well, I gave it a shot. I did it.
Exactly.
So what is a go-to meal for you at home? Like what's something that you cook for the fam, like on rotation?
So my go-to meal is, oh man, if I'm like super, super like tired and I'm like, oh, I need dinner in like 30 minutes sometimes 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It's pancakes, eggs, and bacon.
Yes.
Like I
Breakfast
like
for
that.
dinner, baby.
Breakfast
That's
for
what
dinner.
I'm talking about.
My daughter loves pancakes and she'll eat it, and she'll like chocolate chips and sprinkles. I'm like, I guess, sure.
You're like, yeah, you're lucky we already have it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that is like one of my go-tos. If not, then it's rice and like baked chicken and frozen broccoli.
Yeah.
Like just get some chicken that's hopefully thawed out.
Right.
Out of the freezer from the morning.
Right.
Throw it in the oven, 425 for about 25 minutes, and then make a pot of rice and throw some frozen broccoli into a bowl with some seasoning, put a plastic wrap, and throw it in the microwave for 5 minutes.
Everything done at the same time. Everything's cooking at the same time, and everything's done. Dinner. Yeah.
Dinner. Get down here and eat. I don't want to hear it.
Everyone's like creeping out of their rooms. Like
it's 7:30. You got 30 minutes to eat.
Hurry up! I'm tired. Yeah. Everybody's like.
Actually, there's been times where like I literally just cook and I just go to bed. I'm like, here's the food, y'all. Figure it out.
I can imagine. Yeah. Like when you get back, especially when like like you've already had like a million days in one, and it's still going. It's like the last thing you want to do is like continue on, but everyone needs to eat and everybody's kind of waiting for you to do it. Like okay,
like right now, like my son's like creeping around.
I know they're all the private. So Dad,
food ready. Soon?
So what's for dinner, Dad? What's going on? The chicken's thawed.
Chicken's thawed. Bad.
Oh my God. All right. Okay. So we'll wrap it up then. Let me ask you my $1 million question that I ask everybody on the show. Okay. If you could describe yourself as a 3-course meal, an appetizer, entree, and dessert, what would you be and why?
Man, that's a good one.
I think so.
I'm gonna go with appetizers, nachos, because you got to get your hands involved.
Yes.
Pick a little bit of everything, and then you can put anything in nachos. So like it's a smorgasbord, and the reason I say like that's a good way is because I'm very adaptable, and like you can put me in any situations that I can swim.
Right. There you go.
I think that's a good one.
Yes.
And then my entree I think would be. I think I'm going to keep with the Mexican theme. I'm going to say a chimichanga because, what's better than being like filled with amazing goodness and then deep fry it and then throw some guacamole, some sour cream, and some, pico de gallo with some rice and beans. So it's a hearty meal.
Yeah.
And it's also unnecessarily fried. So I feel
it's
like
filling, it's comforting, it's over the top.
And it has all the textures.
And it has all the textures and flavors that you need. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And it's colorful because you put guacamole on it.
Yes. The rainbow. Eat your colors, people.
Eat your colors.
Eat your colors.
There you go. And then for dessert, I'm going to do a tres leches because I feel like there is a onslaught of things that I like to pour onto people. One of the first things is gratitude. And then I also, show love. and also service. And I feel like Tres Leches is 3 of the same things coming from the same animal, and that's me. Is like, I'm going to always give you some love. I'm always going to give you some service. I'm always going to show some appreciation. And I think, Tres Leches. So I feel like as a Black Hawaiian man, Mexican food would be my 3-course meal, an amazing Mexican meal, which I know nachos is not Mexican. So for all the Hispanic
whatever,
people,
man, whatever. It's all, we can call them tostadas. It's fine.
Tostadas.
Okay? Like,
Tostadas.
Look, okay, they're triangle tostadas. It's okay. All right. All right. Like, you already know what it is. Don't act like you don't eat them too. Okay.
You literally put Mexican food on chips. That's it. Like, that's what we're doing.
It's still the same whether it's round and not. I mean, it's still a giant
It's
nacho.
the same thing.
Okay, like I've had that debate a couple times.
You know what's interesting though? I've never so I don't get messy eating nachos, but I do get messy eating tostadas.
Yeah.
Tell me, how is that even possible?
Go figure, right? That's because everything's it's a little rickety. The construct is a little rickety, and it's kind
when
of
you
like
bite into it, you don't know how it's going to crack.
You don't.
It can be a big crack. It can be a little crack.
Right. Because you take a bite and then the whole thing, the one half, it's almost like a cartoon, like when they're standing on like a balcony and then they cut the hole around it and then they're still there, but the balcony's gone.
Yes.
That's kind of what happens.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Like, you take the risk of the tostada because like there's no sexy way to eat it. I'm sorry.
No.
Like, you know it's falling apart. It's okay. But no, it's a great menu because it suits you. I think it suits you well. The nachos are fun and there's a lot going on and each bite's a little bit different, but the same, like still comforting. And then you have the chimichanga, which is just, I mean, come on, it is, you already know the vibes. Like, I don't need to say anything else. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's yummy. What you're getting. And then, the final with the Tres Leches, like you said, just the 3 ways, coming at you from the same place in 3 different iterations, but it's all love regardless. It's a great menu. Oh, that's sweet. That's a good one.
I tried.
Yeah, you did. You did good. You did good.
Thank you.
I would eat the daylights out of it.
Well, you know what that means. Next time we see each other, we have to have
absolutely,
nachos,
because I'm moving there.
I'm
moving there, and this is kind of part. I mean, there is an ulterior motive, of course. No, but I'm really trying to kind of learn the lay of the land and integrate and get to know some people, and hopefully when the time comes that we arrive, then I'll know who to call, and I would love to work with you in some capacity in any way in the future. I think that would be wonderful. So, but I do appreciate you taking the time to be with me and, share your story and everything that you've got going on. Now go feed your kids, go feed the babies. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course.
And thank you all for being here too and watching and hanging out with us. And we will see you again in the next one. Meow, meow. Bye.
You've been listening to the Mystic Meals Podcast. The Mystic Meals Podcast with your host and producer, Chef Nikki Meow. Kick-ass music by 3 Parts Acid. Follow 3 Parts Acid at 3 Parts Acid on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. The amazing artwork by Art by Bruce 13. Follow Art by Bruce 13 on Instagram. And I'm your voice with the most. I'm Jason Neer. This has been the Mystic Meals Podcast. The Mystic Meals Podcast, copyright 2026. See you next time, kids.